Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. Today I'm sharing with you a new version of my Jellyroll Jamboree. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this fun quilt that I whipped up in just 2 days over the 4th of July weekend. I really wanted to make a red, white, and blue version of my Jellyroll Jamboree, but I did not have a Jellyroll. So I went ahead and got creative with a few fat quarters. And so I wanted to share it with you on here because it was so fast and easy, and I thought you guys would really like this technique as well. And if you don't have a Jellyroll handy, you can use fat quarters or even quarter-yard strips to make this fun quilt. So let's take a closer look at this quilt. I think it turned out so fun. And I used just 12 fat quarter strips. These are from Bonnie and Camille's One Fine Day line. There's a couple older prints in here. This one and this one were from my stash. This was Day Sale, and I believe this was from Scrumptious or The Good Life maybe. And I just think that they all just blended together so nicely. I went ahead and grabbed some fat quarters. I used 12 different fat quarters, 6 low volume fat quarters, and then 6 print fat quarters. So here are my prints, and then here are what I was considering low volumes, and I think they all just came together so fun. So putting this together was actually really easy, and I was feeling kind of lazy, so I'm like, how can I do this as quick as possible? So all I did was I took 2 fat quarters. I didn't even trim them or anything. I just laid them right sides together, and then I took my acrylic ruler. I used a 6.5 by 24.5 inch ruler, and I drew lines on the 21-inch length side every 2.5 inches apart. And then I took that to my sewing machine and just sewed right on those lines. So I sewed the entire fat quarters together all at one time. Next, I took that ruler and I just sliced right along the lines that I had made. And then I turned it sideways and cut those sections into 8.5 inch sections. I got 14 units out of each fat quarter, and that made it really fast and easy, and so I just kept going. But then after I had done that, what I was thinking is instead of cutting them into the 8.5 inch sections, I think you could actually just leave those strips as is and then sew them to 2 more strips, and then you'd have your whole 4-piece unit, and then you can just cut those into 8.5 inch sections, kind of like I do in the video. But I kind of thought about that afterwards, so I pre-cut all mine into 8.5 inch sections. Then I took each of those units and sewed them together, so I had one block that had 4 of those sections in it, and then I went ahead and finished putting the quilt together just like I do in the Jellyroll Jamboree video. Now, because I used fat quarters, I was actually able to make enough blocks to do one more full row on this quilt. So instead of 6 by 6, mine is actually 6 by 7, which worked out great because I plan on using this for picnics, and it's like the perfect size. For the sashing, I used this fun print. This is actually from Riley Blake. This was American Dream by Danny Mogstadt, and this is what I used in my Stars and Stripes quilt, but I had a bunch left over, so I used this for the sashing in between the blocks. I did the 1.5 inch sashing just like I did in that video, but then the other thing I did on this one was I changed the borders. So instead of putting 2 borders on it, I just did one border that was 6.5 inches all the way around, just to give it a nice border. And again, I used this low volume star print, and I think it turned out so cute. So like I said, I put this whole quilt top together in just 2 days. Now, I did get it done on the 4th of July, so I haven't had time to quilt and bind it yet. So that is my next step, but I do want to show you. So I got this fun print for the backing. I love it so much, and I think it's going to be adorable. And then I went ahead and got some of the navy from that same line for the binding, and I think that is going to be so cute. I almost did a border in this, but I decided I really liked that low volume just all over, and so my quilt, doing it the way I did it with the 6.5 inch border, finished at 64 by about 75. So it's still a really good size quilt, perfect for picnics or couch or sitting on your front porch, and I just love how it turned out. Now, I think if you follow me on Vlogmas, I think I mentioned I wanted to make the Jellyroll Jamboree in Christmas fabrics. I haven't done that yet, but I do have this beautiful Jellyroll by Lella Boutique. This is called Christmas Morning, and doesn't that look like it would be such a fun Jellyroll Jamboree quilt? So this is probably going to be next on my list of things to do. This quilt is so fast and easy, and it's perfect to do kind of seasonal versions of, just because of how fast it is. And so now you can use a Jellyroll, or you can do it with fat quarters, and I think it just makes it even more versatile. I also have 2 of my labels left from my Sweetwater tagged subscription, so I'll probably use one of these on the back of that as well. Now, you probably saw in the video, but there are a little bit of leftovers when you're making it using fat quarters. And so I've got this little pile of kind of pre-cut little shorties, but they're already sewn together. And so I think what I'm gonna do is just trim these all up and then sew them together similarly to how I sewed together the quilt. So I'll probably go ahead and make a pillow using these scraps, and I think I might even have enough left over to make 2 pillows, but let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that as a video, because I think this would be really fun, and that makes this pattern pretty much waste-free. You can make a pillow for yourself and one for a friend. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this fat quarter version of the Jellyroll Jamboree, and let me know if you make it. I would love to see pictures. You can tag me on social medias at Erica Arndt on Instagram, or I'm Confessions of a Homeschooler on Facebook, or you can just email me a picture at erica@confessionsofahomeschooler.com so I can see what you've made. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. So if you follow me on YouTube, and if you don't have a Jellyroll handy, you can use it to make. And if you don't have a Jellyroll handy like I did, then you can. I got 14 pieces out of each fat quarter I got 14 strips that were I got 14 pieces. I got 14 units. And then the other modification, I did the sashing